tonight I'm going to talk about what you're always going to say, which is SRS top up. I'm not going to talk about CPF because that is a much smaller amount. I'm going to talk about SRS, which can be quite significant. And why is it so important, right? Now, guys, I'm not sure if you all noticed, right, that SRS, okay, for those of you who are not from Singapore, but if you're a foreigner in Singapore, you can apply for this as well. Okay, you can apply for this as well. This is known as the Supplementary Retirement Scheme. So long you are a Singapore citizen or a permanent resident or foreigner who has worked in Singapore for more than, I think, 183 days or so, please don't quote me now, but so long you have worked in Singapore for more than half the year, you are eligible for this scheme, right? The Supplementary Retirement Scheme, or better known as SRS. So how it works is that basically, if you can contribute, right, a certain amount to this scheme, your taxable income from a much bigger sum can be reduced, right? So these are tax exempted, okay? Tax exempted. Now, before you think that, hey, Pete, isn't this same as charity, like giving money away? No, right? This is actually putting your money into what we call an investment account, right? It's kind of similar to the US 401k system, right? Where if you put this money into this account for investment, the government is not going to tax you on it, okay? And at this moment, some of you might be thinking, wow, Pete, let me just like throw all my money into this, right? And I don't need to pay taxes. The thing is this, right? The government is not stupid, okay? The government is not stupid. Every year, if you are a Singaporean or a permanent resident, you can only put in 15,300 Singapore dollars. If you're a foreigner, you have a slightly higher cap because you probably do not take in CPF. You can put in up to $35,000 and $700. Okay, so this means, for example, if you put in $15,300, that means this amount will not be taxed, depending on what is your tax bracket. Okay, later I'll show you how to get the rough calculation. Okay, I'll show you how to get a rough calculation. And I want you guys to think about it, right? Guys, how many of y'all have not heard of this? Have never heard of SRS, right? Don't be afraid, just type in SRS. I want to just see how many of you have never heard of SRS. Okay, because this is actually one of the schemes that is very seldom talked about. Very, very seldom. People will always talk about, oh, CPF Life, MediShield, MediSave, right? If you're in Singapore, these are the government scheme to kind of help your retirement. But very few people, even the government themselves, do not talk much about SRS, right? So yeah, some of you say, no, never heard before, right? Don't know how to go about it, but heard before. Yeah? Kenny says, heard about it, but don't know what it is. Okay? So guys, I don't know why the government don't talk about this. Perhaps maybe it's such a good scheme, right, that they don't make a lot of money out of it. Okay? All right? And Gary is saying top up at a yearly basis. Yes, Gary, fantastic. If you do that, it will be fantastic to you. Okay? So let me explain to you how the whole SRS scheme works, especially for those of you who have maybe heard of it and never used it before. All right? This is going to be critical. Now, the first thing is this. This scheme will benefit you if you have a much higher income, right? The higher your income bracket, the more tax profit you can get. Why? Because the higher income people are generally having to pay a higher percentage, okay? A higher percentage of your income, okay? So, for example, if your yearly income is about 120,000, your original tax, okay? Your original tax is 7,950, okay? But if you put in $15,300 into SRS, then your tax dropped to $6,190. Okay, so your tax profit is around $1,760. So these are the taxes that you get to profit from. Okay, so if you take this profit, divide by the 15,300, okay, that you have put into this SRS account, immediately this amount will have already gained 11.5%. Immediately, okay? Immediately 11.5%. But if you're on a higher tax bracket, so let's go even higher, right? Let's say 160,000, all right? To hasten the pace, your tax profit now will have increased to $2,295. But you only put in the same amount. The amount you put in didn't change, you know. the amount you put in is still $15,300. It didn't change. But guess what? If you take this, divide by 15,300, now your tax profit becomes 15%. Okay? And if your salary is really high, around 240,000 and above, guess what? Your profit now percentage goes to 19%. 19%, because you get more tax savings even though you put in the same amount. Okay? And last but not least, if you are really much higher income bracket, the 320,000, which is the highest income bracket we have in Singapore, your savings will reach 20%. Okay? 20%, guys. Dun, dun, dun. I didn't set up my sound today, okay? So I'm going to do it myself. Dun, dun, dun. Guys, 20%. Now, how many of you feel that 20% or in fact 11% is a fantastic deal? Do you think that 11% is a fantastic deal? I feel that it's a fantastic deal, you know. It's a very good deal. Why? Because I didn't give away this money, you know. This money is still mine. I can still use it to invest. I can still use it to grow. And then subsequently, guess what? I can still withdraw it without paying the taxes. So this 11% is really the government's way of giving you free tax profits. And the thing is this, like what Lily said, many people perhaps, you know, don't put money into it because you cannot withdraw before a certain age. Yes, later I'll go to that, right? But you can use the money to invest. So you must treat this as what it is meant for, which is called supplementary retirement scheme, right? You should only withdraw this after you're 62. But this comes with flexibility, because can you withdraw it before you're 62? The answer is yes. If you're willing to pay the 5% penalty, you can, right? You can withdraw it, but I don't recommend that. Okay, later I'll show you how to really optimize this scheme. But I just want to show you right now that this is literally free money the government is giving you. The government is telling you, if this amount of money that you're going to invest anyway, right, and you probably don't, if you don't need it until like 62, I'm going to give you tax profit for it. Okay? And I always recommend people to top up their SRS. Why? Because guess what? Even if you don't invest regularly, just by every year topping up your SRS, right, you don't have to top it up to the maximum, 15,300. You can top up like maybe half or 10,000, whatever amount you're comfortable with. But every money dollar you put in there gets you tax profits. Okay? And this money is still yours. You can still invest it. Later I'll show you how to maximize it and how I use it, okay? So Laura is saying, oh, he opened one, but he only put in $1. So Lawrence, you only got $1 tax profit. No, you only got a few cents actually, right? 10% of $1. Not bad, okay? Okay? So yeah, you can use it to invest in a lot of things that I'll show you. Okay. Now Nelson asked a great question, and the question is, hey, what's the rate of return, right? If you just put in the SRS. So later I'll show you how many percent you get if you just put in the SRS and you don't do anything with it. Okay. So Alex is asking, SRS stands for the Supplementary Retirement Scheme. Okay. So let's get into it. Oops. Okay. So let's come back here. Let me make the screen bigger. Okay. So, but wait, a lot of people always ask me, hey Pete, subsequently when I withdraw SRS, right, will I get tax? Okay, will I get tax? So long story short, if you don't know how to do it, you can get tax. Okay? If you don't know how to do it, you can get tax. Okay? So the key thing to understand is this. First thing, there is a way to withdraw from SRS without incurring tax. Ever. Okay? Ever. Right? How it works, let me explain to you. Okay? The first thing is this. The scheme states that 50% of your withdrawal amount will be subjected to tax even after you withdraw after age 62. Okay? Even you withdraw after 62. Okay? And for SRS, there is a 10-year window to withdraw from your first withdrawal. Okay? So don't worry about if it's starting to get confusing, don't worry, stay with me. Okay? But guys, guess what? Think about this. For those of you who read up on income tax quite a fair bit, you will know that for resident in Singapore, right, and this includes permanent residents, okay, and those of you who are foreigner, if you work in Singapore for more than half a year, you are considered a resident. This is not only for Singapore citizen. I say this again, this is for resident. So long you spend half your year in Singapore, you are considered a resident. Okay? You actually do not get taxed for the first $20,000 of your annual income. Okay, first 20,000 is actually not taxable. Can you see here? The tax rate for first 20,000 is 0. You pay 0% tax. Okay, so how to use this to your advantage? How to play around with this? Very simple. Think about it. So I have a 10-year window to withdraw. Okay, that means assuming if I retired at 62, that means I have no other source of income. Okay, I can technically withdraw 40K each year from SRS without paying any tax. Because if I withdraw 40K, only 50%, half, which is 20K, will be taxed. But guess what? If I earn or withdraw 20K, I don't get tax. Okay, no tax payable. And this one I have verified and double checked with SRS, the guys from SRS already. Okay, so what does this mean? This means in the 10-year window that you can keep withdrawing, you can withdraw up to $400,000 tax-free. Tax-free, right? You don't have to pay a single cent in tax, right? Up to $400,000. Okay, so this is really cool. That means if you take the amount in your SRS and you go and invest, and then it grows. Let's say it grows to $399,000. So long you just withdraw 40,000 every single year when you start withdrawing at the age of 62, the whole duration you don't have to pay any tax at all. Nothing. Okay? And even if you choose to withdraw more, guess what? SRS is very fair. They say only 50% of that become taxable instead of your original, where most of your income, 100% I would say, right? Your income is taxable. Okay? So this is particularly useful for higher income earners, because if you're in a high income bracket, let's say 120K all the way up to 320K, you generally pay about 18 up to 22% of income tax every year. Every year. So if you contribute to SRS, which is still your money, where you can invest in and you can take it out eventually at age 62, and you even have the flexibility to take it out with a penalty before 62, right? If you contribute, you will have immediately gained 18 to 22% of tax profit. Okay? And guys, even if this is provided if you don't invest the money, you already make 18 to 22% already. Okay? But guys, please type in the chat. You must invest. Okay? Type in the word invest. All right? Everybody, just now got a question, right? How much money do you get from SRS? The thing is this. If you just put in SRS and you don't invest, okay, the interest from SRS is a miserable 0.05%. So everybody type in the chat, invest. You must invest your SRS when you contribute. Okay? Treat it as your long-term retirement account that you must invest. If you don't invest, then actually it doesn't make a lot of sense. The money is not doing anything. Yes, it did make the 18 to 22%, but it's not enough. Okay? It's not enough. Guys, you want more than that. Okay? So what can you invest SRS with? Actually, you can invest SRS with a lot of things, right? Not just Singapore shares. In fact, you can invest SRS in overseas shares as well, right? This is something that CPF, for those of you who invest your CPF, it cannot be done. You cannot invest CPF money with overseas shares, unfortunately. Okay? And in addition, right, because SRS is really your money that, is not under the CPF scheme, you can even invest in cryptocurrencies. You can use it to invest in a lot of different things, right? Even cryptocurrencies such as Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? Through the use of ETF, right? You can do that. Okay? And that is something that I've been doing for my client and next level portfolio. So I'll show you, all right, how much the ROI can be, right? If you combine SRS with a good investment plan. Okay? So this is one of my clients' account. I just have to block out the names and everything. But I can show you this one. Can you see what is this? Guys, can you see what is this? For those of you who invest in Bitcoin, can you see what is this? Okay? I know this is a bit small, but this is actually the Canadian Bitcoin ETF. Right? I know recently US got a Bitcoin ETF, right? Hey guys, please don't buy that one. That one is not a real Bitcoin ETF. That's a futures ETF. This one is what we call a spot ETF. They literally host the item, which is Bitcoin. Okay? So you can look at here, this is the investment account. Overall, right, this account is up 16%. So how do you combine this whole strategy? And why do I want to show you this? Because this amount, this whole account is actually a SRS account, right? And to be honest, as a portfolio manager, right, I love SRS accounts. Why? Because when the client invests in SRS, I know they are in it for a long term. Why? Because there is a penalty, not from me, but from SRS to withdraw early. So when people commit to SRS to invest, I'm very happy for them because I know they are long-term investors. They're going to do really well at the end of the day. Okay? So when you look at this, right, this client, I kepo lah. I asked like, what's the income level? Okay, the tax bracket is around 20%. Okay, so you can roughly guess what is his income level. Okay, 20%. Then from this investment account with me, the next level portfolio, this year by so far we make about 16%. So in total, this year is already 36% already. Okay, 36% already. And the great thing is this, right? Because I was preparing this, I was asking the students, hey guys, SRS coming, remember to top up? And he was like, Pete, this is amazing, no? This SRS is amazing because every time he throw the money in, he feels like he has done his investing for the year, right? He is not a very aggressive investor or a daily investor like me, right? To him, is every year is just doing it consistently, right? And he does it through contributing to his SRS. So he is saving, getting tax profit here, plus getting profits here as well. Okay. Next one, this is another account I just want to show you. Basically, we invest clients' portfolio in approximately the same thing. We try to make it as similar as we can. Okay. So this client is up about $28,000. So 16.1%. All right. A bit better than the previous one. The previous one was 16.01. Okay. So you can see it's around there. And it's also because we invest in very similar items. Okay. So really this one is similar, right? This one's slightly lesser actually. Why? Because, more. Because the SRS tax profit for this client, okay, when I spoke to him, is a 22% tax profit, okay? So now guys, I'm not saying that you must hit 22% tax profit, then you do this scheme, right? No, not really, right? So for this client, 22 plus 16, he got 38. But frankly, if your tax profit is maybe, let's say, a lot lower, let's say only 10%, okay? But you add 10 to 16, guys, it's still a good return, right? It's still a very nice 26% return. I can tell you beat a lot of fund managers out there already, okay? Right? So this is the main thing I'm trying to share tonight is that we are coming to the end of the year, guys. Okay, we're coming to the end of the year, and this is where the SRS window begins, right? Actually, you can contribute to SRS the whole year, right, throughout. But it really doesn't make sense because even if you contribute in January or on 31st of December, they will still give you the same amount of tax profits. Okay? So for me, I always contribute the full amount near the last week of December, right? It is my commitment to get the maximum tax profit I can so that I can invest it and make it grow bigger. Okay? And the powerful thing is SRS, unlike CPF, okay? Unlike CPF is that, yes, indeed, CPF, you can use it to invest. Hey, but guys, if you use your CPF to invest, then it doesn't gain the 2.5% already. So, Lawrence, if you invest your CPF, it does not get the 2.5%. Okay, so it's equal to SRS. But guys, guess what? CPF don't have the option to withdraw early. SRS have, if you really need to. Let's say something really happened, like your house caught on fire or something, and you really need the money. And if you're willing to pay the penalty, you can take it out. That is the flexibility. But I like the penalty. Why? Because the penalty encourages people to put in and don't take out unnecessarily. But they still give you the option. Okay? So that's the powerful part about SRS is every year is like a pilgrimage for me, right? Just contribute that amount. I contribute to the full, right? 15,300. But for those of you who don't want to contribute so much, let's say you're just starting, feel free to start with a lower amount, 5,000, 3,000, or even 10,000. The key thing is once you start ripping the tax profit, I guarantee you from here on, you will put in as close to the max amount as you can, right? In fact, I wish they let me contribute more because I know at the end of the day, if I invest this well, it will be part of my retirement plan. Okay? So I just want to highlight one more thing that makes it very different from CPF scheme compared to SRS is the fact that you have flexibility in what you can invest in, right? SRS, you can invest in overseas shares, you can invest in Singapore shares, Hong Kong shares, whatever not, even cryptocurrency. You saw how I did it for my client. We invest in Bitcoin ETF in Canada. Okay, in fact, I'm thinking about helping them to add on to Ethereum. And that's because when I talk to some of my clients, right, they do have difficulty. I don't know why. They do have difficulty investing in cryptocurrency, right? It's either they find it too difficult to open a separate account, or their investment mandate, right? Their bankers or their relationship manager does not they cannot invest in cryptocurrencies given the bank mandate. So the good thing is, for me as a portfolio manager, I quite a wide mandate, quite free, and I thank my CFO for that. I can pretty much invest in anything I want, so long it's not too crazy, too scamish. Okay, and in fact, when I talked to him about Bitcoin, it took a bit of convincing. When I first floated the idea to him, he was like, "What's this?" Okay, but hey, guess what? Bitcoin has been one of our best performing return asset, right, for the last 1 year. Okay, so if you look at this Bitcoin, the total return here, let me just point it out for you. Hey, 30%, man. So I think my CFO also quite happy with my decision. Okay, all right. So okay, so Lily is correct, right? If you want to use your CPF OA, then you will not get a compound interest from CPF, but it's 2.5%, so it's really up to you. For me, I actually do invest my CPF. Okay. So Kenny is asking which broker to use, which platform to use. Okay, so guys, tonight I'm just going to share with you a bit more about the next level portfolio. For those of you who want to understand how I invest my clients' SRS funds, okay, you can stay on, right? And for those of you who want to listen to the HDB new ruling, okay, after I share about our next level portfolio, we will get to that. Okay, we'll get to that. All right. So right now I'm going to talk about the next level portfolio, right? Guys, how many of you here are in the next level portfolio already? If you are in, right, if you are one of my client, type next level. Okay, type next level. So just share again. We are starting to accept new funds now. I expect us to keep this open for maybe 1 month or 2. Then once we get one round of funding done, we'll usually close, right? And then we'll focus on investing the fund. Okay, so for those of you who are interested, go to investwithpete.co. Okay, now how does the next level portfolio work? Let me just share with you very quickly how it works. Oh yeah, correct. So Chiwa is inside, right? Okay, so I would say generally the profile is that we welcome all investors, right? Be it you are using SRS or cash, right? We do not take in CPF at this moment. Okay, and the minimum investment amount is $50,000. Now, why $50,000 is because it is a lot harder for us to invest in certain companies if the portfolio is very small, right? If let's say you put in 20K, 30K, right? So we realize that $50,000 is a good size that allows us to properly diversify and also invest in a good company. Okay, and many people usually when they buy stocks or they buy fund, they have this concept about ownership. They say, hey, is it a custodian or do I really own the shares? Okay, I want to share with you, in this case, in the next level portfolio, you own direct. Okay, you own the shares directly. It is under your name. It is not under my name or anything. I am just the portfolio manager. It is yours, right? If you want to sell it, totally, it's your prerogative to do it. Okay, and I love that because I want to give the client have direct ownership. When you want to sell, let's say you need to withdraw for certain reasons, let me know. We can get it done. But I'm very happy to share right now, I would say majority of my clients, even through the recent dip, they didn't withdraw. Fantastic, right? These are the long-term investors that I'm looking for. Hey guys, by the way, I want to share, this is not a short-term trading portfolio, right? This portfolio, we are looking at least about 3 to even 5 years duration. It's a long-term portfolio, right? Not as long as SRS, right? Going all the way to 62 years old. But we don't believe in short-term quick trading because the friction cost is going to be very high. Okay? And you can view all your holdings through 24/7, right? Through an online portal, and there's also a monthly statement. And one thing that I'm super proud of that we managed to get this with done with the company that I'm working with is that there's no lock-in period. All right. Although I say this is a 3-year to 5-year portfolio, right? But I also believe like SRS, sometimes people do have their needs. Maybe somebody falls sick or you have some needs and they need to withdraw. Okay. So I don't believe in a lock-in period. I believe if you're a responsible investor, you're a long-term investor, you yourself will keep coming back, just like how people keep contributing to SRS. Okay, so there are two types of account. There's cash and SRS, right? Unfortunately, you cannot mix the funding, right? It has to be two separate accounts. Okay, and unlike a lot of the unit trusts out there, I don't believe in upfront charges, right? So there is no upfront sales fee. Okay, so basically how it works is the next level portfolio, when you put in the money, I will invest for you, just like how I invest for the clients here, right? And invest in a variety of stocks. Generally, we keep it to around 16 to 17 stocks, right? For $50,000 portfolio. Okay, so this is how we invest, and I'll monitor them, and this is really my full-time job. Okay, now there are different types of portfolio. Let me just share with you very quickly, and different benefits. Okay, so there's blue, black, and then the gold tier portfolio. Now the difference is, of course, in the net asset value, right? So for those of you who are lesser than 100,000, your management fee is 1.5% per annum. Okay, not per month, per annum. Okay, for the black tier, between 100K to 1 million is 1%. So you save one third of the management fee. And those of you who are 1 million above is even better. You save more than half of the management fee. Okay, and there's also a profit sharing. So how does profit sharing work? Is very simple. When someone invests, and let's say you make 100K, okay? Let's say the profit is 100K, right? You as the investor, you will keep 85% of that, right? And me as a portfolio manager will share with you the 15% of the profit. And that is only on profit. If there's no profit that year, the profit sharing part does not come in at all. Okay, later I'll give you an example how it works. Now, for access to portfolio manager, for all of you, there will be an email access and direct Telegram access for those of you who are bigger portfolio, right? And really for the gold tier members, sometimes I know you guys have other asset class investment needs. Okay, so I do one-on-one for them as well. If you want to ask me about property, crypto, so on and so forth. Okay, and one thing that I recently just sent out, and I also sent out to some of you who are not in the portfolio but you're interested in it, okay, is our quarterly investor letter. Now, at this point, let me just talk a bit about profit sharing, because many people who are new to the investment world, you might be curious about how this works, right? Like, how does the 15% count? You know, is it like whenever this year make profit, then 15%? So I thought it would be easier to share an example, right? A real life example. So this is 15% per annum, and it's called a high watermark. What does it mean? That means the last higher point is being used to calculate the profit, okay? So for example, in year 0, when you first started, let's say you put in 100K, okay? And touch wood, in year 1, okay, the portfolio dropped to 90K. So in that case, there is no profit sharing fee at all. No, right? Because it's loss making, okay? But on the second year, the portfolio recovers, and now we went back up to 110K, go above 100K, we are 110K. Now, here comes the question, okay? The difference between year 1, which is 90K, to year 2, 110K, is actually 20K. So is the profit sharing on the 20K? Or is it actually compared to year 0, which is only 10K more? Okay? And the answer is it compares to the last highest point. That's why it's called a high watermark. Okay? So it will compare to year 0. So in this case, it is 15% of 110 minus 100K. Okay? Later I'll show you how the math goes. So let's say third year drops down again, and then year 4 we went up to 120. Guess what? Is once again taking reference from the last highest point, which is 110, okay, and then 120. So once again, 10K over here, right? So the performance fee, for example, in year 2 is 15% of 110, once again, minus 100, not 90, okay? If I minus from 90, wow, then that's very bad, no? Then I just every year up, down, up, down, up, down, I can eat a lot of profit, but I don't believe in that, right? Because I truly believe what's the best way to make this work is that people see the account grow. When the account grows, naturally, there will be more people who want to come. Okay? So if you look at year 4, it's the same, right? We take 120, but we don't look at the third year, which is 100K. No, right? We go back to the last highest point, which is 110K. Okay? So this is a very quick sharing on the next level. For those of you who want to know more about the next level portfolio, right? Do go to my website, investwithpete.co. There is a detailed video that I did to explain in detail what the next level portfolio is and how it works, okay? But over here, I just want to share some FAQ because some of you have been texting me, emailing me, and I told you that we're not open yet. So since today we are open, let's go through some FAQ. Okay. First one is this. Can Singaporean open an account? The answer is yes. Most country citizens can open an account, except unfortunately if you're a US citizen. All right, we do not have the license to onboard a US citizen at this point in time. So if you can help me, please talk to your senator or representative or Joe Biden. Okay, talk to some of them. I don't know who. Okay. What is the projected return? Okay, so our long-term projected return is around 15-20% on average, right? Annual returns on average. And why we say project long-term is because I truly believe for a well-building portfolio, like what Warren Buffett did, it is not this year I make 100% and then I don't do it ever again, right? I don't believe in that. I believe in slowly but surely we get to the target. 15%, 20%, 20%, 15%, 20%, 20%. If we continue this trajectory, we will get there, right? That is how Warren Buffett built his millions and billions. Okay. And third one, I think I answered already, but many of you asked me, hey Pete, can the next level portfolio invest in crypto for us or not? And the answer is yes. We are allowed to invest in BTC and Ethereum at this point in time. I know many of you has asked me, can we invest in Solana? Because I've been talking a lot about Solana on my YouTube as well. I am trying. Okay, so be patient with me. Once I get CFO to agree, I'll let you guys know. Okay. Next one, where do we invest? We invest mostly in US and China at this point in time. Okay, US and China, because these two are the largest economy. So we really like to invest in areas where there can be a lot of consumption happening, right? That will drive company profits. Okay. And interestingly, I think some of you may have a lot of foreign currencies in your account and you are asking, can you fund in other currencies other than US dollar? And the answer is yes. All right. In fact, we accept most major currencies out there. Okay. So last but not least, people ask me, hey, what's the ideal amount? And I think Han Xiang is asking, can we start with a lower amount? Now, if your SRS do not have 50,000 yet, don't worry. Slowly get there, right? Maybe you contribute 2 years, 3 years, then you can get there already. Or you can just invest with cash first, right? If you have 50K in cash, you can start investing in 50K first, okay? So I don't think there's an ideal amount. Anything above 50K to me is good enough. We have determined that 50K is the minimum we need to invest properly, right? But once again, a reminder for those of you who are investing more than 100K in AUM, right? You get to enjoy much better management fee, okay? So I know this is a very short sharing. You may not fully understand the next level portfolio. So for those of you who are really interested, you want to find out more, do go to my website, investwithpete.co. All right, over there are videos, there are even long type outs to share with you what exactly the next level portfolio is. Or if not, you can just email me, okay, at my email, right? Those of you who can DM me on Facebook as well, and I can share more with you. Okay, so now we are accepting new funds. I do expect us to close in a month or two. Okay, super excited. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank all those of you who are already with us in the next level portfolio. All right, your continued support and your trust, we don't take it lightly. And I'm very happy that the majority of you are, right? And I think I can share the exact numbers. Out of close to 200 over of you with us in the portfolio right now, last year, we only received 2 premature withdrawals. And these 2, one of them is because they have some financial issues, and the other one is because the parents are sick, which is really very legitimate reason. And I think they needed the money more than they should put in for investing. Okay, but for the rest of you, you stay invested, right? This is our first year. I look forward to many more years to bring great returns for you guys.